There's always a man, there's always a city, there's always a lighthouse.
Now would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a...
Let's go out to play, Daddy.
Go back to the Sodom from which you came!
It's time to finish this.
Catch!
That'll do. Elizabeth!
So I'm Justin here with JC, and we're talking about Dual Universe, an upcoming MMO that is really heavy on the technical side. JC, you guys are doing a lot of different things with tech than we've seen in any other game before.
That's right. So there are basically two fundamental technologies that we build the whole game on. The first is the new server technology that allows what we call a continuous single shard universe. That means that everybody is playing in the same world at the same time, and that there are no boundaries, no barrier, no zones or anything like that. So you just walk wherever you want, and we make sure that servers are dynamically attributed where there are more people, so that you don't have fixed boundaries or things like that. The net result of that is that you can imagine having things like a city emerging in the game. Because of this technology that allows potentially tens of thousands of people gathering in the same place, and because of the other tech, which is about building and the fact that you can modify the environment, which I can do right now if you want. Like for here, I'm going to put a cube here, or if I want, I can actually dig something here.
So this is a pre-alpha build. There's nobody else in the world right now because you guys are still building the game.
Absolutely. So we want to be completely transparent on that. What you see here is pre-alpha. None of the assets is the final assets. We have to work on them. We have also almost all of the gameplay to develop. So we want to be completely transparent. We are not selling a finished game. If everything goes well, we hope to have something like a finished game by the end of 2018. Mm-hmm. So you see we're pretty early, but what we like is to communicate soon so that we can have a lot of feedback from the community, which has already started. We have a lot of people giving us their opinion, having very interesting discussions. We have a forum open. We also started a community website, where people can actually start to create organizations, which are the guilds, if you want. I mean, it's the generalization of what is a guild. And we already have, I think, more than 370 organizations declared. So the community is very active, and we engage with the community, we discuss with them. I often go and talk to people online to answer their questions. So that's what we want to do early on. But because we have those big claims, about this technology and this single shard world, I think it's important also to communicate quite early about the fact that this technology exists and it does work, and it's not, something that we are pretending. Mm-hmm. Actually, the whole point was that I started the company when I got the technology working as a prototype. So that was the go, no go moment. So we start with technology, and we are now working on the gameplay with a team of 25 people, experienced people from the game industry. So I'm not saying we are now in the easy part, of course, but I'm saying that we have worked on the uncertain part, the part that was not clear that could be done, which is the tech that allows this, what you see here, to happen in a gigantic world shared by potentially millions of people. And let's have a look at the world, actually. That's how big it is. So one planet going to space. Space stations, we will go there soon. Let's go further away in the universe. Get another planet here, another one. The position of sometimes people say, oh, they are very close to each other, it doesn't make sense. I agree. This is just a demo, as I said, pre-alpha. We're testing planets, so we just don't want to put them too far away, so we can actually play with them easily. This is not the final, way things are going to be put. But if you look, I'm going to slow down a bit. This is another planet that you saw in the sky when we were there, and this is the original planet we came from. See here, the space station is still there. We have, for all practical purposes, infinite, depth of how far you can see things. They fade out, of course, but only when they are becoming so small that it doesn't matter. Here, it's still in development. You see it loads progressively. It will go faster when we are done with optimizations, but still it's pretty fast already, and it loads the details as you get closer to things. That's how we handle actually the load to display huge things. And in fact, the technology that takes care of planets is the same technology that takes care of orbital stations or ships. So there is no problem to have a ship that would be as big as the planet. Of course, the only problem is that it's a kind of realistic game. So if you want to build something, you get to gather the resources first, and it's probably impossible to gather that much resources and the time it takes to actually deploy them and so on to build something that would be big like a planet. But from a technology point of view, it's possible. Now, what could be done through the hard work of players, only time will tell.
There are some parallels, of course, to No Man's Sky, which came out recently, which also includes infinite planets and places to explore. But this seems like you're going after something very different.
Yeah, sometimes I say with a joke, like, there are two common points with us and No Man's Sky. We are sci-fi, okay, and we have planets. But apart from that, it's very, very different. Everything you see around you is procedurally generated, okay, like in No Man's Sky. We hope to add also animals and things. I don't know when, maybe not in the final release, maybe in expansions that we will have later. So I'm not promising that this will be there right away, but yeah, in the long-term vision there could be animals that would be really cool. But apart from that, everything else you're going to encounter, I mean, this space station I was talking about, this is player-made. Well, it's made by us now, of course, there are no players, but you see what I mean. Everything you will encounter will be the result of players' creativity. The universe is going to be very large, but the known universe, the one you will be able to actually explore, I mean not explore, but go to, will be limited by how fast people are developing stargates. So there's a difference between the existing universe and the accessible or known universe that will, make the claim of how many planets do you have a little bit pointless. It's how fast can you build stargates to explore new systems and develop the industry that is necessary for that. Also, people will explore new systems for a reason, because it's costly to make a stargate, because it requires planification and so on. I explained that in some posts that we did recently. So basically, if you have a stargate to a given system, there's a high chance that there will be people there, and that you're not bored because it's always different, because it's player driven. Look at the size of this station. I would like to give you a sense of proportion. I'm going to slow down a bit so I don't bump into it, but let's go, let's say, so you see, by the way, how it loads progressively again. This is the key to make this fluid no matter how big it is. I think I dropped a ship at some point around here. It could be very well here. So this station is absolutely gigantic. It's 8 kilometers long. To be honest, I'm not even sure that again, how long it will take for players to build that, how many players you need to have this. It's probably a huge endeavor. Let me just walk around so you get a sense of how big this is. I'm actually running, you see. So the time it takes to just go to the edge of this little thing here gives you an idea. So this place is absolutely huge.
You mentioned realism to this. Do you also plan on like having planetary gravity and having planets rotate and things like that, or?
Yeah, so gravity definitely, of course. Now actually, if I go a bit further from the station and cut the God mode, because of course I'm flying now, as you can see, it's not what, I mean, you won't be able to do that in a game. But if I cut the God mode, I just fall on the planet. That's actually pretty easy to do. The other question is, we want to have day-night cycle. So look, for example, here's the sun, I can move it, and maybe I should take a bit of altitude so you can see what it does. I will come back here later. So it's a bit laggy, also because first we need to optimize, and also keep in mind that this is currently running on a laptop, which is also running the server. So in terms of CPU, it's kind of heavy. But anyway, let's go frankly, out of this.
You've described
atmosphere.
it in some ways as like EVE Online meets Minecraft.
See, well, I'm sorry, just to finish on that, here you have the potential day-night cycle way is actually very beautiful. And when you are on the planet, you can have a nice sunset, if I can go there, wherever, let's say here. So you get that, and that's it. So the way we plan to do that, hopefully, again, there's no guarantee, is that we would like to have the planets rotate on themselves, which is a bit tricky because when you are on a ship and you take off, if you don't do anything special and just make the planet rotate, the planet's going to rotate under your feet as soon as you don't touch it, right? So the way we have to deal with that is to add a sort of an artificial force that will push the ship alongside the planet. So we'll see if this is feasible, but it's probable that we are going to be able to do it.
Is the sun like a real huge sun in the distance, or is it just a light source? Or?
Well, let's go and see that. It seems that it's a real sun. That's it. So here we go. It's a bit small, but you know, this is not a big issue. We can make it bigger. Just to you know, say that this is real simulation. It's not the most difficult part of this. You know, what is really difficult is to have this planet. Again, remember, this whole planet is completely editable, and if I want, and if I have time enough, I could take this mountain out of the picture by digging it out. That means also that there's multi-scale management of updates of the landscape, if you want, that you are able to see things either when they are taken out or if they are built. As soon as they are big enough so that they are visible from space.
You've described the game before as like EVE Online meets Minecraft.
Yeah, that's if I have, you know, 5 seconds, that's probably a good way to start. There's a bit of EVE Online. Well, let's start with Minecraft. I would say there's a bit of Minecraft because you can build things. But first of all, it's not limited to just cubes, but as you have seen just before, and I can do that again here, for example, you can have any kind of shape you want. It can be smooth, it can be sphere, it can be, you can sculpt basically matter the way you want. So that's one difference. The other big difference is that it's taking place in a real MMO. So if it changes everything. Every type of gameplay we can talk about. We could talk about combat, we could talk about industry or anything. It takes another meaning when it's happening in a real single shard world, because people are part of a collective story, and what you do has an impact on this story, how the world is going to evolve. So mining, so Minecraft-like, if you think that I'm sorry, not mining, building, so the Minecraft side of things, if you think that your building can actually be blueprinted and then reproduced into a factory, then it takes another scale in terms of meaning, because you might actually build a very successful spaceship that will get you know, very successful on the markets, and suddenly, boom, everybody is using your spaceship, and you're becoming both famous and probably rich in the game. I was looking for the spaceship, actually, it's there. We're going to fly in it if you want.
Yeah. And as an MMO, then obviously player interaction is going to be an important part of this experience.
Exactly. So because it's an MMO, all those things take another dimension. And so in a second stage, when there will be a critical mass of players and enough content that will be appearing in the game, I think we will enter into a EVE Online-like aspect, where you have all these markets and industry and trade and politics and territory fight and control and all those things that will start to take shape in this world. So I think, you know, the gameplay experience of the game will probably evolve over time. Bit more Minecraft at the beginning, if you want, sort of, and drawing towards more EVE Online type of things in the future, and ultimately, I mean, it will be different from those two games. It will be probably a fairly different experience. So It's a quick way to position the game, but probably not totally accurate. Okay, so this ship is there. So again, you know, as I showed in other videos, I mean, it's completely editable. And by the way, the space station also can be edited. So, and not only with cubes, but I can add some beautiful, horrible, whatever. So this can be, the resolution also is depending on the size of the things you do. For example, this ship has a smaller resolution, and the space station here at this point has a bigger one. We'll see if we make it adaptive. It would be nice that you could have a super fine resolutions in certain places, but that clearly is not for the first release, but something we might think about in the long-term future. Let's get into this ship. So here I'm stepping in, and it flies. So it can be completely built and you know, transform the way you want and make it look and behave the way you want. Let's take a bit of speed. And I'm a very, very bad pilot, so I will try not to, you know, crash in an embarrassing way. Let's maybe head for the planet again.
If you crashed into the ship or the planet, does that deform the planet or the ship, or is that not?
No, we thought about that, but actually the decision is more to say it's better that nothing happens. You just bump against the thing, because if you do real damage, we could do that, but we fear that people will start to build ships as torpedoes, and it will turn, you know, fight into throwing things at each other, which is not exactly how we want things to go. Besides, also it will create probably extra load on the servers for no good reason. You know, the way we envision combat is by having a lock and fire mechanism that will actually be coupled with, you know, armor types and shield types and types of weapon with specializations plus skills and so on. So it makes it actually interesting for people to specialize, to get, you know, into expert level for fighting with certain types of things. If we start to have people using ships as weapons, then I think it will break a bit of the fun. So here we go. Oops, boom. Sorry. Learning. I don't have my license anyway. So here you see below me the level of details are not loaded, so it's a bit coarse. But let's stop here, for example. I will just slow down and just land, and then step out of the ship. Here we go. Boom, that's it. And then the landscape appears. So again, we're optimizing these things, so we don't want to break the immersion, but you know, to make things that big, you have to also make compromises and try to, you know, balance the load of everything. But you know, you have this sense of continuity. We were there, right? It's still there. Everything is, it's a real world that exists, and I don't know everything. I suppose maybe there are perhaps some other thing, but I've not seen that in a game so far. And to me, it's super exciting, because then I can start to invent my story. I can start to become a character, and become anything I want in a world that is persistent, that has meaning. You know, that has some, that is evolving also. So I might be surprised, by what I encounter in the game. And I think this is the surprise. You know, criteria is something that I like very much. Like in the real world is exciting, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know. This, of course, has to be balanced with gameplay, so that it doesn't go into total chaos, for example, or Mad Max style. So for that, we have been thinking a lot, and probably we are not done yet with all the thinking on how to mitigate that. For example, you see this huge thing over there. We can go there actually. It's the Ark ship. So that's the mothership that you arrived in as a colonist, and everybody starts from there. And there will be a huge 20-kilometer safe area around that ship. So when you step out of this ship and you arrive in the game, again, I mean, this landscape is just placeholder. Don't consider this is going to be nicer. We just planted the thing here. So but what I want to say is that when you step out of this, you won't be sniped out by some angry players. There will be a safe zone, and then you decide whether you want to cross and go beyond that safe zone. Of course, all the interesting resources will be beyond the safe zone. But you could very well live inside the safe zone and have a relatively peaceful game experience. Still be contributing to the game as a whole by acting on the markets. The in-game markets will be an incredibly important part to act as a hub, so that every player can be somehow specialized into things he likes and sell what he likes and buy what he doesn't like, basically, like in real life again. Mm-hmm. So you could be in this safe zone and be in a relative safety. There will be other safe zones that will be unlockable on other planets, perhaps on the same planet also. We're thinking, for example, on that point we are not sure. So that makes the profession of explorer even more interesting. You might discover an artifact that will become a safe zone, that will spawn another intense economic area, for example. People will be able to build their own safe protection bubbles. They won't be indestructible like the safe zone, which are formally impossible to break, but they will be very tough. And the more energy you put in them, the tougher they will be. So suppose you have in orbit a very important market with a lot of goods traded there. You will make probably a lot of money with the fees, and you'll be able to afford a hell of a bubble that will require, in proportion, to what is inside the bubble, an incredible amount of firepower to break. So, plus the warnings, 48 hours of warning before anything breaks. So, there will be ways out of the normal safe zone to build a relatively peaceful area if you put the efforts together.
Do you envision a story for this world, or is this kind of a game that the player will create their own story in their own?
Mostly it's the second thing. We want the story to unfold according to what people are going to do. However, there is a backstory. We have already a short story written by Alain Damasio, who is a great writer in France, very well known, a bit less abroad, but he got his work actually translated, so I recommend everybody to read it. It's really wonderful. And it helped us to work on the backstory, so that we have a bit of explanation of why we are here, what happened before. We will use this backstory also to explain certain things that you will encounter in this world. But mostly, what will happen is going to be driven by players. It's not clear also how we can make large-scale events in the game, because it has to remain interesting for everybody. If you make a super villain at some point, at some place in the universe, once people have killed it, it's a persistent single-shard universe that are not going to respawn. So it's not obvious how to make stories in the classical sense with that kind of game. Let me show you maybe a bit of other things. This ship over there. So let me fly a bit faster. So this is another example of a mid-range, it's quite big ship. Again, loading progressively as you get closer. So you see the details appearing. But again, this ship is completely editable. So just to clarify, I'm going to go on top of it and try to edit it. So yeah, one thing also which is important to understand is in a ship like this ship, you basically have two things. You have the ground here, all the things which is made out of matter, voxel based, that you can sculpt in any way you want, and it's basically is the shape of your ship, for example. And you have these things here, which I'm going to highlight, which are called elements. And these are static meshes that we do, that we provide as the basis of the gameplay. And these elements are craftable, or you can buy them on the markets and so on. And the thing is that they bring functionality. So this is obviously a weapon, but there are other things for radar, for cockpit, you saw one before, engines, all sorts of engines. And so You bring functionality to your shape, which is a static, form. You bring it by adding these elements to it and then connecting them together through scripting. So you may script actually in Lua for those who really want, but otherwise there are some automatic configuration tools that will look at your ship and do the scripting for you so that it does the standard thing that you expect. But yeah, for people who want to go a bit further, imagine working on some kind of small AI or I don't know, maybe autopilots or auto defense things. It will be possible. We have also to balance the automatic things so that it's somehow always better to have a human doing things. Otherwise, we end up with a game where everything is automated. So here, I'm getting inside the space station. So we bothered to make something inside it. Again, I mean, most of the space station is empty, but you see here, this is made of elements, just like the weapons that we saw, or the cockpit. These are just decorative. It's just to look nice and to make a nice looking interior. But it's possible that if you like this kind of corridor instead of voxels, you decide. But people are extremely gifted, and what they do with voxels, I think, will be quite impressive as well. So I don't know if everybody is going to use that kind of things. So here, oops, light on, we enter the command room. This is an example room that we made to illustrate the concept of a big room with a lot of screens. These screens, they display, they are placeholders, but the idea is that you will be able to couple them with active elements of your construct, so they'll be able to display useful information. I don't know, you could imagine this filled with people managing the request of docking on the station, doing a bit of background check on whoever is trying to dock, see whether they are welcome or not, plus the weapon system, the repair system, the whatever. So, but it's just to show that there is an inside to these huge things that you see. It's obviously a lot of work to make that, so it can work if the community is excited about the possibilities. And we have seen in Minecraft that it happens, right? Or in other games, maybe also EverQuest Landmark. People got incredibly creative. So I'm confident that we will see pretty amazing things.
Yeah, well, it's a really cool concept. I really look forward to seeing what else you guys do with this.
You know what? Me too. And I think I really want to play that game. So that's something that motivates us every morning, and it's beautiful. I like it. So that's it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, JC. It's a really interesting first look at Dual Universe for us.
Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. It's really cool. Thank you.